Hello, 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 hello to everyone and welcome. Yes, finally, the long-awaited Season 2 is on us. And of course, starting off tonight here at Branch Hatch, Round 1. Of course, as you can see, there's the moon already on track. A couple of guys out there practicing already. So, yeah, some guys very eager to get the season going. Of course, as with the previous season, welcome my co-commentator, not Fernando.
Good evening to everyone who's watching. Had a bit of a delay. Season 2 arriving a little later than expected, but we're here. We're at Brands Hatch with the V8 supercars. We already got a few guys out on circuit. We already have a few lap times. So far, fastest out on circuit is Munna, got a 1:21.4. And Wazzy in second, Judge in third. So already a lot of action out on track. As I say that, see Judge take to the lawn.
A couple of guys actually looks like they're mowing the lawn here. I think the guys maintaining the pitch here, they will be happy with that. It will make their work a lot less.
Riding with Chen at the moment. He's currently third with that last lap time, 1:24.7. Currently no one near the Munna, 1:21.4, and we watch Chen as he leaves the circuit into a tyre wall. I'm not sure if that Not sure what's going on.
Ooh.
Jan?
Nah. There you go, stuck. Looks like he's stuck in the wall. Not sure. The car's not reversing, it's not moving, it's not doing anything.
Something's not right there. And
but Chen is still
the man who's
showing,
currently in third place. He's stuck in the tyre wall. Keep an eye on that. We have Devon coming out for another attempt.
Several of the guys got green liveries tonight. Oh, and looks like someone else disconnected as well.
Someone else.
Connection is a bit of a challenge tonight. We're down to only 7 races. We started well, but a couple of guys already disappearing thanks to disconnect. Of course, like not Fernando said, we did start a bit late. It was because of that, a lot of connection issues to get this underway. So it looks like it's not getting any better out there.
It's rather unfortunate. It seems something this game has developed in recent times is some severe connection issues. Definitely. And just some players clashing with others and not being able to have them both in the lobby at the same time. So really the only way to get it right is to have everybody in the lobby or in a lobby prior to the race, everyone that would be there, from the commentators to all the drivers that have signed up for the league, to make sure that nobody is clashing with anyone. It could come down to one PSN that's clashing with everyone else.
Correct. Literally one guy clashing and it could affect everybody.
There's Max. He's 1 second. The 1:21.9. It's under half a second between first and second.
And I was just about to say, he and Bamuna are pretty much continuing where they left off last season. If you look at the gap between them, not much.
Both put in a lot of time over the week.
Yeah, okay, Carter boy, thanks for the comment, but we already know you can't join. Unfortunately, we can't do anything about that. it looks like the mod managed to join. Of course, he will just be in the pits. I'm not sure if... Yeah, but as far as I know, he should be able to come out and practice. And there's another...
Yeah, he should be.
And looks like we've got Attie as well there. So we're back to 9 drivers.
That's some good news.
And now it's showing 10. Looks like we got Toki back as well.
Back at the front. Mona still got that fastest
So
time.
the only 2 guys currently who we originally had in the lobby before we tried to start was Valandel and Carterboy 55. So it's only those 2 guys that we lost due to clashing connection issues, whatever you want to call it.
It's good to have the numbers up. Obviously now those guys will want to get out on circuit. Not much time remaining. This was originally going to be a 45-minute practice session, and obviously we cut that down because of the delay. So I'm going to have to mute that because I can hear myself. And there we go. So just over 7 minutes remaining.
But that 45-minute plan was also to accommodate for guys who's going to join late because of load shedding. But that's all been sorted in the meantime with the delays of getting this all going. And of course with that now practice has been shortened. And just to remind everybody, of course you guys that's been watching, last season of course you would remember hour-and-a-half race. Of course races this season will be an hour. Of course except that endurance race coming in round 5 if I'm not mistaken.
So right slap bang in the middle of this.
Goes straight on into the barrier, and as he does, he goes into the pits.
Nice feature, into the pits, gets away with it. Nizmak's also sitting in the pits. That's your 2 fastest men at the moment.
But the gap did open up.
Muna did improve that time. Definitely. It's now a 120.9, gap 7/10 of a second. Currently 3rd, TNB Wazi. Not as many with that name ahead of there.
Hello, Buena.
Just the 9 drivers again, so it seems like someone has fallen out.
Yeah, somebody disconnected again.
All of those. All of the drivers that did join, they are out on circuit. We lost one of them, I'm not sure which one it is, but we have Toki, Chen,
no, Devon is gone.
And
we lost
DW.
Devon is gone. The guys that did join late now, Toki and Attie and DW, they're all still there and they're on track.
So the 3 that joined, they're still there,
yeah,
and Devon has now found a problem. See, no action from the top 3 at the moment, all sitting in the pits. Just over 5 minutes remaining.
Sorry to interrupt, and just a little bit of a topic. While I see Boinkies, just to confirm, Boinkies, is he joining for the next season of F1?
I believe so, yes.
I
might just have to look at the list. I know he is. I don't know if he asked to be a driver or a reserve.
Now he had a good season last season with Alpha.
No, he is a full-time driver.
Ranger, the Alpha was right up there. I mean, Alpha, Renault, and Merc in the top 3. So it would be nice to see him back. Of course, 2020, new year, new beginnings. Of course, starting with Thursday night racing tonight, first race of a new season. And with that said, the F1 for TNB will actually start next week, Friday.
That's right, it will start next week, Friday.
Officially.
Is a
tomorrow night, of course, for pre-race.
Pre-race in Russia tomorrow night, but that's basically a dress rehearsal. And then round 1 will commence from next week. And then I believe the other 2 F1 leagues start after that.
And of course, something else that's new to the season 2 year of Thursday Night Racing. Yeah, I did say earlier the race reduced with half an hour, but of course this season we also have constructors.
That's right. We've got do have teams. That's why you will see
And we got Devin
more
back.
you will see doubles of the cars.
Of course, there's several teams, and each team has got 2 drivers, just like in F1. Of course, so the guys will be driving for themselves as well as the team.
Devin has since returned. Seems like if you leave the lobby and return, your lap time gets cancelled out because he has no lap time next to his name.
Correct, and he was on track already.
So this next 2 laps is really going to be crucial for him, and he's got a bit of traffic ahead of him. Might want to just give himself some space so he can have that final run, or his only run. Chen has come into the pits. He will.
And just to make mention as well, all the races will be 1 hour, as I said. Of course, with a 2-hour race, which is in fact round 5 at Bathurst. All the first 5 races is all with a V8. Then there's a 1 week break, and then of course it's those all touring cars.
Okay, so we're going to have a season of half and half. It's quite challenging.
5
by
V8,
round 5
all touring cars. And of course
by
the 5th
round
one
5
is
they'll be really used to this, and then they're
Yes.
going to have a week to adjust to something completely different. And yeah, my only experience with those cars is their brakes don't work.
And I heard a lot of comments about guys while pre-season testing, etc. Everybody complaining about the brakes.
I've tried it, and yeah, the brakes I don't get it.
Okay, so you, from a commentary perspective, you went and tested it yourself to make sure it's all just like what they say. Thanks for that.
I think I'll brake later in my Renault again.
And it still brakes. Unless you brake how many yards early and it still doesn't want to slow down. Now I had a lot of guys complaining about that, so it's a big adjustment. Of course, the V8 you can brake later, it's more responsive on the brakes, much newer cars, new technology. So yeah, it's like you said, it's going to be an adapt situation. The one who's going to adapt the best will be fine. Because you're going to start now with V8. Of course, your last race, which is round 5, is that 2-hour endurance race. So when you're now so into the V8, have 1 week and then switch over to the touring cars, and it's like kind of like starting all over again.
Just 30 seconds remaining in this qualifying session, and let's just keep our eyes on the top 2 drivers. They both got over the line, one with just under a minute, the other with 50 seconds remaining, so both of them on their final run. Still probably,
just pushing too much, that's not going to help. But as it is,
so it seems like Muna lost it on that lap. Let's follow Nizmak, see what he can come up with. Time remaining on our screens has run out, and obviously this will be his final attempt. Man on provisional pole did make a mistake, so he's not going to be able to improve, and Nizmak has also made a mistake.
Yeah, and we're losing. Oh, and there goes Vermont. Vermont is out, and he got affected by load shedding. Load shedding got the best of him.
Eskom got the best of him.
Eskom,
he's still out on track, going really slowly. One of the Carter boys, Carter boy 45, also not going too quickly. Seems like Attie still giving it a go. Devin as well. Let's see, he's going to go over the line. Registers a lap time of a 1:25.7, I believe that is.
Yeah, and then Attie a 1:25.5, so not much between the two of them.
That brings to an end our qualifying session, our shortened qualifying session. We'll just go down the results for you. Just 9 drivers. Obviously Muna on pole position, Nizmak second, Wazi third. Then you've got Chen in 4th, Toki 5th, Judge in 6th, Carterboy 45 in 7th, 88th, and Devon 9th. Obviously, when we do get our full allocation of Carterboys, I believe there will be 3 of them. You will have Carterboy 45, 55,
I'm not sure
and
about
triple 5.
Triple 5.
Yes,
I was thankful for that, because I was just want to mention why to the viewers why you said Carterboy 45, because there's going to be more than one Carterboy once everybody's got the connection issue sorted out.
See, there's other PSNs there on the screen with numbers attached to them, and I don't refer to the numbers, but when it comes to the Carterboys, I mentioned 45 because
which one?
There may be a time that there will be 3 of them on the grid. It's going to be quite difficult to in the race, because it will just say car.
Okay, let's shorten it. Carterboy to KB. Say KB 45, KB 55, and KB 555.
That works.
That
you
way,
can use
that's
that in
be
the you can use that in the F1 as well, because all 3 of them are competing there as well.
Correct. KB, and then the number, then you'll know it's Carterboys.
0.7 of a second was the gap at the end of the day between winner and Nismax. Quite a substantial one. I wonder if Nismax wasn't holding back everything for that final run and just made an error.
I was just about to say, how many bags of sand is in that car?
See, now when we get to the race, a lot of strategies at play. Some will go with lighter fuel, some will go with heavier fuel, and just try and do a splash and dash at the end.
A lot of guys complain about tire wear, so if you're going to have tire wear, you're going to have to stop, then it's pointless maybe going for a heavy fuel load. Rather go light and try to make up time. But on the other hand, if you go higher fuel load, then when you stop, it's just for tires. You don't need to stop for fuel with every stop. But yeah, let's see how the tires last and who can get it right.
If it were me, what I would be thinking, if it's just the 1 hour race and you could probably finish this with a 1-stop. Obviously these guys have done the testing and they know exactly, how far a hard tire goes, how far a medium tire goes. So if a hard tire can do X amount of laps, make sure you have fuel for X amount of laps, and then at the end just do a softs with a little bit of fuel.
Hey,
I don't think you want to drive around here with a full tank.
Welcome, DWs. Tough luck. Eskom got the best of you, I see. Dang.
Right, yeah. we have DW there in the comment section.
Just confirming what we said earlier about the load shedding.
I thought it was a rumor that he was indeed alive, but there we go. It's on my screen. #96. There we go. We're at the start of the race. Obviously now the clock will count down from 59 minutes. Guys just doing their
final setups.
And that clock will reset to 60 and we'll be on our way.
Someone else. We lost another driver. Okay,
just the eight drivers on the track. Who did we lose now?
80. Of course, and if you disconnect now, you will not be able to rejoin the race.
Some fan support for Toki.
Hey, some good support.
Nice to see. Guys taking their time with this final setup. You gotta get it right. Gonna have to drive this thing for the next hour.
Of course, as we said, highway, here we go.
Man, make sure it's something you'll enjoy.
Of course, this is a very tricky circuit. And we're off. And Nismax with a good start. Muna as well, but already eating grass. And Nismax has taken it. Nismax got into the first corner, definitely making that start count. Muna going wide again. Nismax will have an inside line this time. Muna running extra wide now. And Wazi's going to dive on the inside. Muna down to third. Not the best of starts. And of course, that's one thing that was working for him brilliantly last season is those electric starts.
The electric starts, just getting out ahead and getting away from any trouble.
And if Wazi is going to hold him up, of course Nismax is going to be very happy because this is now where he has to push and build the gap. And it's already almost a second between him and Wazi. There we go, second.
Early stages in this race. Hashtag 96 over there. He's asking, is anyone going to challenge Nismax or Muna? And he goes by to answer his own question, Wazi exclamation mark. It's more like Wazi question mark.
If a right Wazi pitch up DW, I believe Wazi will be able to take the fight to these two. And the same thing said once the gaff pick is back, if he also gets the right gaff pick pitch up, he will also be able to be with these guys. Because, of course, last season he was also right up there with Nismax and Muna. It's just one thing, you know, is his tragedies costed him all the odd mistakes.
He had a bit of a, when it came to strategies,
when Nismax goes wide, this is obviously what Muna likes to see. Cap closes down nicely.
When it came to strategies, he had a bit of a Ferrari of a season.
Yeah.
Ran out of fuel a couple of times, overfueled a couple of times, and yeah, it was a Botha special.
Yeah, wet tires in the dry, DW, you're probably right, and it's working for him. Because only Wazi you can pull off a move like that. Wazi's going to have a look on the inside here. No, things better of it. Muna still behind Wazi. No way through. Oh, Wazi goes a bit wide. And as he corrects, he almost loses the car. Looks like Muna did see him coming. It was just slight contact.
Evasive action. So obviously now that gap at the front
opened up right back to over a second again. Because now with Muna avoiding him, that also would have he had to slow down.
That's just a really good example of how quickly you can lose it in this game. He touched a bit of grass on the one side and took a lot to stabilize that car, and luckily Muna saw it coming. That gap at the front, 2.5 seconds, and Wazi going over the gravel a little bit. Let's go further back in the field and see what's happening. Toki's in fourth.
Toki in fourth, of course, leading the rest of the field. But it's in a good battle here, looks like it. Yeah, and the judge
taking fourth place.
Yeah, the judge. Ooh. Oh, and Toki's with there was contact between them. Chen now
looked really good initially. Initially it was really good.
Yeah, Toki and the judge actually fighting very hard there. And not giving each other much space, and unfortunately the contact was inevitable.
Judges come off
second best.
Second best in that battle.
Last would actually be a more better description, because that's actually where it put him.
Got the car pointing now in the right direction, and he's off on his way once more.
That's Nismax already coming to Lappy.
Nismax leads the race. That gap now 2.7 seconds.
Actually not. So for a moment I just thought, because that green car and red car so close, I almost thought it's Nismax coming to lap, but no, the track is not that short.
3.9 kilometers. I think it's one of those. It's very close to the Kailami
kind of size, yeah. And the Muna, of course, in second now. Muna did get past Wazi. Already almost 2 seconds ahead of Wazi. Not sure if there was another mistake or if it's just a proper pass. And of course now with Muna in clear air, he's chasing after Nismax. Can Nismax keep his cool and extend his gap, or is Muna actually going to chase him down? But yeah, with this close wheel-to-wheel fighting, that's not also going to help the tire wear situation. Like I said earlier, a lot of guys complaining about the tires not lasting, especially the left side of a car. So with these type of battles, it's actually going to put more strain on the tires.
The Brands Hatch, also a ex-F1 host, hosted the British Grand Prix on multiple occasions.
It's difficult to believe that's how long ago it was.
Fastest lap around here in a Formula 1 car. It was probably the last time a Formula 1 race was staged here. It was in 1986 by Nigel Mansell. So, but
like
they hosted a few. Another victory would have been in 1974 here at Brands Hatch. Jody Scheckter.
DW, Nismax and Maram is like Wazi with a tires situation. If that's the case, then yes, he's on the right strategy.
That gap continues to increase. 3.3 seconds. Just hovering now. But we saw it was just over a second when that initial incident happened. Muna has, in the meantime, gotten past Wazi, and the gap is quite substantial. So I wonder if Wazi went off circuit.
Because now it's even another second open. Yeah, it's even worse now. Wazi falling back to Muna.
Muna will have some free air for the first time in this race. He obviously...
Muna going wide there, but managed to bring it back on track. That will bring Wazi closer to him again and open up the gap between him and Nismax. Yeah, there we go, over 4 seconds now. I'm not sure if Wazi made a mistake, or perhaps the earlier incident might have caused him some damage. Of course, depending on the damage, your car will be slower than usual as well. That can also cost you.
Carter Boy maintaining 4th position.
And Devon now down in 8th place, and Toki in 7th, and the judge going up to 6th now. Looks like these guys are back at it, Toki and the judge again.
They have found themselves on circuit, next to each other on circuit yet again. Here we go. Judge did get him quite nicely the first time up the inside. The problem was the exit for both of the cars. They made contact on the exit.
But nice to see, even if they made the contact, they're still going to go at it. They're still going to give each other a hard time. It looks like Judge a lot more braver braking for that corner than Toki, because Toki's brake lights were already on. Again, I see Toki's lights on.
These two still going at it. There's Max up at the front. That gap is now almost at the 6 second mark.
Yeah.
So,
but the Muna's got a penalty by the looks of it as well.
Let's just get some confirmation on that penalty.
Both Toki and the judge goes wide there. And then Devon follows pursuit.
And Devon as well. So the final 3 on the track.
And Toki comes out of first time round. And now the judge will have Devon between him and Toki.
All 3 have had their opportunity to be demoted to last place, and they're still next to each other on track.
Yeah, these guys looks like they're gonna fight each other for the whole race. Yeah, 2 seconds. 2 seconds for Muna.
Just a 2 second penalty. Nothing too serious, but that was obviously him running wide somewhere. If you look at the last lap,
and we got our first guy in the box. Carter Boy 45 is pitting. Toki is back behind the judge again. Bit of a gap at the moment, not as close as earlier, but Judge. Thanks, Mr. Director. That's what you say. Oh, and this is a tricky corner because a lot of guys going wide there. Of course, a lot of corners here. You need to commit to turning in early. As much as it doesn't feel like it, you will have to, because some of these corners are very deceiving. Some of them you think they're tight but they're open. Other you think they're open but they're actually a lot tighter. And a good example is this final corner just before the home straight. You think it opens up, and if you accelerate too much, you will go off track or you have to brake again, losing all that momentum you wanted to build up. Looks like Rocky might have some damage. That car seemed slow on the straight there.
Let's have a look at your race leader right on board with him. Currently leads the race by 7 seconds.
Daniel, luckily, and the judge are best of mates. At least that's the impression they give us when they all together in a chat. And this is not the only game they play together. So I think the two of them will sort it out amongst themselves. Like this, we're giving you the driver's perspective, of course, with V8 right-hand drive. Not like your typical race car left-hand drive, which I think the touring cars might be.
They probably will be.
And a couple of guys actually race on this view. So yeah, it also makes it a bit challenging for you if you're not used to it.
I don't know, I can't... I need to see the apex of the corner. I need to see what I'm trying to aim for, and
Carter boy is being about to be lapped. That's the problem with branch hatch. A lot of guys want to see that apex before they commit. Of course, here with brand hatch, as I said earlier, you need to commit to turning in early, but it's not always easy. That's not your driving style to adapt. It's not going to just happen in like a lap or two. And of course, branch hatch in any format, any racing, it's a challenge.
Obviously, if you're more familiar with the F1 game, coming over to something like this is very different.
I'll give you another thing. Driving this track on a platform on another game, Gran Turismo Sport, just could drive the same track as on that game. And I promise you it's not the same. Just coming from that game to this game is also something completely different.
They also have the Indy circuit, which is obviously a shorter version of this one. How big is the Indy circuit? The Indy circuit's only 1.9 kilometers. So, and the lap record there was... Okay, now who's this bloke? Okay, I've never heard of this person in my life. The lap record at the Indy circuit was set by Scott Mansell in a Benetton Renault, but it was in 2004. So I'm a little confused. I will do research and get back to you on this, because Scott Mansell set the lap record in 2004 in a Benetton Renault, and it's a B197. So, not mistaken. Yeah, that was
Renault was not around in 2004. Ooh, and okay, now that's Carter Boy just getting out of the way by the looks of it. Going off track, doing what Fricky likes to do in F1. Give you as much pace to come past when you lap. He's not gonna get in your way. Looks like the gap stabilized between Nismax and Muna. It's hanging around that 7-second mark, not changing much, but it seems like little by little Muna might be gaining. But it's pretty much stable for now. And as I said, there was a bit of time lost there. Gap actually opened up again a little bit. Of course, you're talking about the shortened track of Branch Hatch versus this one. Easiest way
Yeah,
to spot,
obviously.
if you look at the camera angles, just as you will just see where the cones are on the track, if you could put it like that.
Yeah.
That's where the
Yeah.
track is pretty much split. Because this section of the track we are on now is not on the shortened track.
That gap has
Ooh,
gone up
gap
to
dramatically increased. Looked like Vermuna
Not-
might have made a mistake. But as I said, Nismax is in the pits now as well. So he would have enjoyed it if that was indeed true, and maybe not just because of a pit. If that's the case, if that gap opened up like that, it would have helped Nismax tremendously just on the verge of his stop. Because Muna, of course, will have to come in still. So will Wazi.
Back of this Ford. I think it's just the wing, but something's reminding me of a Subaru.
No, there's definitely a mistake from Muna, so that can be a true reflection because Wazi is very close to Muna now compared to what he was earlier.
He has been able to make up ground, so maybe leaving the circuit, and then it takes a bit of time to get your momentum back,
Okay,
and all that advantage that you've gained, you can lose it in a matter of corners.
And you need to clean those tires, and trust me, on this game here, it does make a difference what your tire pressures are, if your tires have dirt on it for going off track, etc. Chen having a quiet race so far, but running in a solid fourth. Ever since the like of Devon Toki and the judge moved to the back, the Chen has pretty much been on his own.
Some good points on offer if you can bring it home. Go over
And
to the
Muna's
judge.
in the pits now. Was he for temporarily in the lead?
And this Max will pass Wazi now. There we go.
Muna, Wazi surely will put shortly as well. Oh, and Muna still stationary. Probably some damage being repaired as well there.
He's going to be in the pits. He's going to be in the pits a little longer than he wants, and then he probably doesn't want to come out into the midfield. Here goes Chen. Chen will pass Muna shortly. There we go. He's passed him. He's still stationary, and it seems like the judge is also going to pass him. There we go. He's on his way.
On his way. And he's going to come out in front of the judge. No, actually not. The judge did manage to pass him.
Muna down to 5th with that pit stop. Wonder if that will be his only pit stop of the day, and he's going to try and take it to the end. Not really sure.
But I think he was damage repaired as well, because that's the only reason explaining why he was stationary that long. And in comes Devon.
Devon comes into the pits. Everybody now getting to that, time of pit stops.
Correct. But pit lane is going to be a busy place.
Carter Boy goes through into 7th now as he passes Devon. Still stationary in the pits.
Of course, Carter Boy stopped very early compared to the rest of the field. Of course, also
down in 5th.
Just keep in mind, Carter Boy, it must be said, is also still getting used to this game. One of the new joiners. Oh, Muna taking a big chunk of a corner there.
He really came in early. This race remain. Obviously, the two drivers in front of him, Chen, as well as the judge, they still need to pit. As does Wazi. Wazi leads this race by 8 seconds. Nismax already starting to close that gap a little bit, probably on the fresher tyres. If they pitted at 20 minutes, they start on a softer compound. Is there a compound that can take them to the end?
I'm not sure if you go with a softer compound, but I think a lot of the guys for tires did seem to have lasted a little bit longer than what they did in the practice runs earlier this week. So not sure. It all depends how long the tire can last.
Well, a lot of these pit stops taking place around about the 20-minute mark, and if that is going to remain the case, then
we will be one stop each. At least another stop each.
We'll get another stop somewhere. Don't know what tires they were running on the first stint, but it's 20 minutes out on circuit. That gap 6 seconds. Nismax is catching the leader. Wazzy will obviously be into the pits shortly. Wazzy has not, Chen in third has not pit. And then seems like Muna has made his way past the judge. Seems like the judge made his pit stop. 10 seconds behind Muna. Muna back up into fourth. 40 seconds behind Chen. This is where that extra damage, that extra stationary time in the pits could come into play.
That's it. So if you look at the time, Nismax might well and truly have a pit stop up his sleeve. Well,
even if Chen has a uneventful pit stop, he will have made up a lot of ground on that third place.
Definitely. Well, then again, anything can still happen.
Wazzy still leads. That gap has come down to 3.5 seconds.
And he's staying out. He's pitting a lot later compared to the rest of the guys.
Wonder if he's gonna pit first, or if we're gonna see them on track together first. What are we gonna see first?
Because Nismax is closing in on him at the rate of knots.
And just confirm for you on the last lap.
Ooh,
your
and
leader
Muna now
Wazzy
got up to 4 seconds with a penalty, so he did get another penalty.
Say that Chen has been passed. Muna now up into third place. On that last lap, just to give you a comparison, Wazzy setting a 126.3, that is your leader. Nismax a 123.5. So 1.5 seconds there, the last lap that he took out of Wazzy. Gap now just 1.1 seconds. If this was F1, they'd be getting into DRS range.
And we got Toki now into the pits as well. Oh, and we got another driver left. Looks like we lost Devon.
Down to just the 7 drivers. Must be some sort of a connection issue. I don't see any retirement notification on the race feed, so it was a disconnect.
And Nismax now passed Wazzy.
That gap between Wazzy and Muna, 40 seconds. See, Wazzy still needs to make a pit stop. Been out there a lot longer than everyone else. Can't think of anyone else that's on circuit that hasn't pit.
Might not be worth trying to push for a one-stopper if you're going to lose this much time to the rest of the runners. You might as well just pit and try something else. Of course, it's not even halfway yet, so unless he knows something we don't.
See now, Nismax passed Wazzy not that long ago, and that gap is already up at almost 3 seconds. So gaining a lot of ground. Muna still down in third. 42 seconds adrift of second place. And then remember, he's got 4 seconds worth of penalties. Comment section getting a bit quiet.
A Carter boy now
Is there
actually
anyone
in the pits as
still
well.
awake there? Anyone still awake there on the YouTube channel?
Looks
Things
like
have
some
gone
of the
very
guys.
quiet.
Looks like guys are watching. You just don't want to comment. Of course, just on that note, by all means, feel free to share comments.
There we go. Connor
part of
Young
the
is
chat.
in the comments section.
Yeah, I'm not able to race tonight, Connor. Yeah, you could have cashed in on good points here tonight.
It's been an interesting round one. Obviously, we started with a lot of connection issues, and unfortunately, the race hasn't gone unscathed. We have
Several
we've
guys still affected.
lost several drivers. Obviously, DW, he did not finish.
But his was not disconnected. Well, he was a pure ESCOM case.
This was a South African electricity supplier not being able to do exactly that.
Oh, and Nismax
like
now
Nismax
also with
has
a
picked up
penalty.
a penalty.
Yes.
Let's see what that penalty is all about. Sometimes it's just 1 second, but we've seen them as much as a minute.
Yeah,
two
so that
seconds.
that gives 2 seconds back to Muna.
I would read that comment, but I have no idea what it says.
Why don't you just give it a go?
Have a look. Okay, I don't know what the first word is. So that doesn't help.
Hey, looks like Devon's got even a worse thing because he says when he put it, he couldn't even change tires. So this game is really acting up tonight.
Strange things happening on project cars. We've used this obviously for a whole season of TNR in the past, and used it before that. But just in recent weeks, we've noticing some various issues with connection. Wazzy has come into the pits. He is stationary. Where is Muna?
Connor, no, there was actually, everybody had a clean getaway. So no corner one incidents actually. There was an incident in one of the other corners, but not on the opening lap, and it was actually in the midfield at that time.
Unless I've missed a ton of stuff, but from what we have seen on screen, no severe damage or anything like that. And most of the guys that are no longer part of this race, they didn't necessarily retire.
Was he in the pits there? Gap now you can see between Nismax and Mamuna is 43 seconds.
Gets on his way as Chen comes into the pits.
Chen stopping quicker compared to the previous round. I'm not sure if there's perhaps damage.
Going out to the judge, he's in 5th place. Looking to get a decent handful of points today. And just bring that car home.
Ooh, the judge just holding on to it. That would have cost him some time. So I say the Carter boy actually came past him to unlap himself. Oh, and I'm not sure if that distracts him. Oh, but he did manage to keep it out of a barrier.
Let's put him off, let's put him into the gravel.
But he managed to keep it off a barrier.
That'll bring Chen closer to him. Needs to get that car's momentum back up to speed. Just those few mistakes, your tires can cool down or even overheat in certain cases, and then it takes a while. You can see Chen just continues to make up ground.
And we are at the halfway mark. 30 minutes
That's
left.
right. 30 minutes to go. See, races this season, like Johan said earlier on in the stream, they have been shortened by 30 minutes. Season 1, 1.5 hour races. Just the 1 hour race, 2. And then obviously we're going to have something special at round 5, 2 hour endurance race. Should be something different.
I mean, these Aussie V8 cars at an Aussie track.
Handling these cars for 2 hours.
Around Bathurst. Ho ho!
Hopefully by then everybody will have had their various clashing issues sorted.
Because I'm sure everybody would want to do that longer race.
Connor just this is a tough track. Definitely is. You know, it's got these curbs that you get on the curb and it helps you get onto the grass. There's grass and there's grass and gravel everywhere. It's not an F1 track where you've got tar runoff areas and you know you can just sort of run wide and not really lose that much speed. But if you're facing the wrong way in the gravel and you have to get back on track, you can lose so much of your time that you've gained just by one simple error.
This is for one track where you can forgive somebody for picking up any type of penalty for corner cutting or so. Because the way these corners, you know, open up or tighten depending on the type of corner. Your commitment to the apex is so much different here. Well, that's going slightly wide there as I say that. Of course it's difficult to spot that exact turn in, and of course the apex, some of the corners, you know, as you turn it goes slightly up or down, tightens, whatever. So yeah, it's a bit of a challenging track, if you could call it that.
Winner leads the race
by 7 seconds, yeah.
That gap is coming down slightly over the last couple of laps. Seems like another driver has picked up penalties. 10-second penalty for Wazzy.
Muna now with 5 seconds, so he got another second.
These penalties could all come into play at the end of the race if these guys find themselves.
I didn't spot that, but it looks like Nismax might have made an early pit stop, hence because the gap was like 40 seconds between the two of them. And now all of a sudden Muna is leading and it's 5 seconds. So, and of course, looking at the pace of Nismax now closing that gap, so it's possible that he might have pitted again.
Wonder if I think he could have maybe gone out on the wrong tyre, or
maybe softer tyres. He was pushing lighter fuel load, so maybe the plan was to have a shorter stint. You never know.
Difficult to imagine modern F1 cars driving around here. Was the host of the British Grand Prix, but those were very different cars in a very different era.
And as I said, Wazzy looks like in the pits now, and Carter Boy again.
And still leads this race. Was back second.
Now only 3 seconds, just over 3 seconds.
Chen in third. Dolky fourth. Wazzy in the pits once more. Plus he has that 10-second penalty. Gets going again, he's in 5th place. Down in 6th. Had an up and down race, the judge. And Carter Boy 45.
But a very lonely 7th.
Lonely 7th place.
Almost a whole minute behind the judge.
he's still a good reason to bring it home. Good points in the championship. These guys will only get better. These guys will only get faster. The more they drive these cars and the more they practice.
Definitely.
So I think they'll be a lot better once we get to the 2-hour race. Some of the guys still learning. Maybe some of them not putting in as much time as others.
I think these guys just want to get this race out of the way.
Now these two, just half a second between your leaders. As Max is in the lead of the race. It seems like Muna didn't put up too much of a fight about it.
Different strategies coming into play, yeah. And this makes a lot faster now. Toki also with a penalty. More than half of the field now got penalties.
Just a 1 second. Just a 1 second penalty for Toki.
And this match also got another second added. So the gap between him and Muna staying with 2 second penalties. But of course on track it's 4 seconds at the moment.
You can add another 2 to that as things stand, so it would be now 7 seconds the gap. So we don't know what strategies these guys are on, what fuel loads these guys are on,
Which
or even the tires
tires.
really. So it is a good thing for the viewer to have the different color, you know, the wall tires, so you know.
That's it.
But if they all look the same,
it's difficult to determine. Not like in F1 where you got the different colored sidewalls to show you which tires were on. Something to maybe consider, you know,
in the pits.
collaboration. Yeah, there we go.
And
again, looks like he's stationary for a while.
He's not changing tires. I think there's damage on that car again. It's on his way, but
I think that's actually what happened the first time around with the gap.
3 drivers still clean of penalties. Chen actually having a good race, and I think it's as a result of it being an uneventful one.
Yeah,
I think he's been able to keep it clean and stay out of trouble.
Mind his own business and let the other guys fight their battles.
For the most part, he's just been going around and letting others trip over themselves or each other. In Gavin's case, themselves.
Yeah, I know. I was waiting for that.
Sorry, Gavin, if you're watching, but I had to say that. It was perfect.
Yeah, I know. That was classic, and unfortunately, the guys will remind him about that. The time when he had to stop again because of fuel load, which cost him the race win at that stage.
Most drivers trip over each other, while Gavin simply trips over himself. Hopefully, his season 2 will be error-free. Definitely a quick driver.
Nesmax now
somebody who can, with some consistency, somebody who could challenge for the championship.
Unless someone else got another red car, but as far as I know, it's only Nesmax with a red. Got a boy having a lonely but not quiet race. All the way back in 7th.
Toki right on the back of Chen.
Oh, but Toki's coming in.
He's dived into the pits. So there won't be a battle for third. Briefly, I thought we would get a bit of a battle for third. He's dived into the pits.
I think Chen will be happy with that.
Chen will maintain his third place for the time being. just over 20 minutes remaining. Actually, as I say that, 20 minutes remaining. Just 1/3 of the race to go. Muna started this race from pole. Had an unfortunate start. I think that's where the problem started. Was probably hoping to get into turn 1 in the lead, but ran wide and allowed Wazzy to get through as well, demoting him down to 3rd, and took a bit of time to get back up into 2nd, and then it just seems few errors. I need to speak to him to know, but it seems like both his pit stops have involved
some damage. Because last season, of course, that was one thing that worked for him on Nismax. He were consistently bet on the pull away compared to Nismax, and tonight was something different, completely the opposite. Was last lap very slow, but quicker this time around. The one he just finished now. Nismax almost 3 seconds faster than Muna. If you look at the previous lap time showing there. Of course, Mr. Racer, thank you. You read my mind. Thank you. There, of course, that will give you an indication of the last lap, as I just said, between Muna and Nismax. Last lap was almost 3 seconds. Base lap still more than a second Nismax. So the qualifying, I'm starting to say there was definitely some sandbags in that car of Nismax, and now some of those sandbags started to disappear. But of course, there's also that damage element on Muna's car.
2.9 seconds, just under 3 seconds, so massive gap. Still able to lap faster than the man in 3rd, and that's probably thinking more of maintaining 2nd than catching Nismax at this point.
That's it.
Just got to
penalties are pretty much cancelled out because both on 5 seconds.
Really, the best strategy for Muna at this point would be to mind his own race, have as little problems as possible going forward, and
bring it back with some points.
Just bring it back with some points, and maybe hope Nismax makes a mistake. But been leading since turn 1. Muna did lead briefly, so did Wazzy, but that was all events of pit stops.
Of course, this is just the first race, still 9 more to go, and of course there's that 2-hour endurance.
Talking
still a
about
lot of racing
people,
to come.
Sorry, talking about people who lead because of pit stops. Can you name the driver who led a Formula 1 race this season that was not in one of the top 3 teams?
Are you talking about last season, 2019?
Yeah, 2019. There was
Nismax not coming into the pits.
There was just one driver who was not part of Ferrari, Merc, or Red Bull that led a race in 2019.
Was one of the smaller teams. Wasn't it Sainz?
Just Giovinazzi.
Well, one of the two.
He led it. I think he led it for 4 or 5 laps.
Still something he could put on his resume. He led a race, even if it was briefly.
Must be quite the feeling to lead an F1 race in an Alpha. Rather a Sauber. Still a Sauber to me. Kimi's there, it's Sauber.
Even better if you lead it, and the main team, Ferrari of course, is behind you. Bragging rights.
Absolutely, one of the seats in that team is a Alfa Romeo seat. They choose who drives there, and the second seat is a Ferrari seat. That's where their Ferrari backing comes in. One of their seats goes to a Ferrari junior driver. That Ferrari junior driver is Giovinazzi. This season, been re-signed for 2020. And as far as Kimi goes, apparently the word is Alpha says he can drive for as long as he wants.
I don't think Alpha expects a lot to happen in it. Besides, with a lot of changes for next season, I don't think a lot of guys will do or expect too much this season.
I think a lot of guys, if the rule changes are going to be as big as they're going to be in 2021, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see major upgrades this season, major things this season, and people already focusing on 2021. I know Renault has just said that their 2020 car is just going to be an evolution of their 2019 car.
That's
because they're focused on 2021, and they actually strongly believe they're ahead.
And I don't see why would you worry about one more year if your whole evolution is actually coming in 2021. Because it is actually that, an evolution compared to the cars, what the cars are today versus the projected, of course, if you look at what they, the drawings, what the cars will look like. But already looking at the rules and the changes coming in on the cars, that's definitely an evolution. Just confirmation with your times there. Gap 22 seconds between Muna and Nismax. Chen still keeping his nose clean in third. Why is he still fourth?
This will be a good result for round one. Finish on the podium.
Definitely. We've got a bit of a gap between him and Wazi, so that will allow him to breathe easily.
Is it a battle, or is someone getting left? This is a battle. These two have found their way to each other again.
Here we go
on circuit. These guys have been separated by half a minute at some point in the race, and they keep on finding their way back. Obviously having similar pace on the day.
And the judge also with a penalty now, so it's only no, not the judge, sorry, I'm talking about Chen. Chen is the other guy, sorry, the judge and Carter Boy are the only guys without penalties. That's what I mean to say.
The oldest and the youngest?
Chen also now got a penalty.
The oldest and the youngest, would that be fair to say?
If I look at everybody's ages,
not here, so
no, but on track tonight, yeah, I would say that is for oldest and the youngest. Because if I'm not mistaken, the judge is older than Toki.
Some diverge age groups. Was he not bad there on the last lap, or 1 minute 26? Finding some pace late in the race. Does have that 10-second penalty. Basically everyone has that red block next to their name now. The ones that don't have anything next to their name, it looks like they've done something wrong. And there we go. Judge becomes now the latest addition to the penalties column. Carter Boy now the only one out on circuit with no penalties. So just a 1 second penalty for the judge. So nothing too serious. Gap at the front.
Oh,
20.
whoa, there we go. No more, it's just the youngest one who's now penalty free.
Just Carter boy.
Everybody's got
45.
red next to their name now. Just Carter boy.
So I say, it seems like he's the one that's done something wrong. His name's sticking out. We're in the comment section asking for the gap times. I've brought that up on your screens. Should be able. I can't. It's the only thing I can't see on my screen, but you can see it on YouTube. I've got the YouTube stream up, so it is there. All your gaps there at the bottom of your screen, as well as on the side. And then when I press too many buttons, there will come a time where you have none of those. Just ask my co-commentator.
Yeah.
And he goes 2 or 3 laps without a timing screen.
Correct.
Because I've pressed the wrong button and not noticed. Because you see, the timing screen remains on my screen. I can still see it. It's just if I switch it off, no one else can.
Just need to remind you sometimes if it happens. But that's fine. It's not a big train smash. Yeah, no, like there. Now the times on the side is gone.
Yeah, I just
So
switched it off.
at the bottom.
I actually like those times at the bottom.
I just wish they'd. Like this better.
I just wish they'd scroll a little bit.
Correct, just like with everyone, so it keeps moving. That would be nice.
Just keep on scrolling, and when it gets to the guy that's lost on the track, start at 1 again and just keep it rotating.
It's almost like NASCAR. NASCAR have it right at the top and it keeps on moving the whole time.
Actually,
now leave it at the bottom, just keep it moving. That would be nice, but yeah.
And then if you do that, it's...
Leaving it like this, you will only see your top 4. You won't see the rest of the guys' gaps.
Now it just... now it looks like a broadcast. Looks pretty good.
But now you don't know who you're riding on board with, and you also don't know how long the race is still going. So yeah. But that's for pretty much like for options you have.
That's some pretty good options in the spectator mode, and can really make this game look quite good with the options available. Just 7.5 minutes remaining in this race. Nismak's still your leader. Muna's still in second. That gap 25 seconds. Chen holding on to third. I think he should be able to maintain that man in fourth place well down the road.
No, it looks like his gap between Wazi is solid. So I don't think, unless Chen now makes a massive mistake, I don't think Wazi's got enough time to actually catch him and then pass him.
That's Wazi down in fourth.
Very late pit stop. 7 minutes to go.
As I get to his car, he's now left the pits.
So it looks like one of those splash and dash type of pit stops.
It seems like we lost a bunch of drivers and then sort of settled on this number of 7.
That's it. Originally, when everybody joined, we were set to have 12 drivers, but then came the whole connection thing, and of course ESCOM.
Obviously, just as a suggestion going forward, on the Wednesday night before the race, there usually is a practice lobby for the race, and maybe if you've lost connection tonight and you're not so sure about your connection going forward, might not be anything wrong with your internet connection, it's just really, it's this game. So if you're not sure about your connection, join on Wednesday night and try and iron out those problems before round 2.
Because big thing is, like you said, it's always a clash issue, and it can only be because you're clashing with another driver.
Really want to see as many cars on the grid as possible. So we need to sort that out going into round 2. I think we went through about 5 lobbies. Now into the last 5 minutes. Nismax started in second, but got into turn 1 first. And for the most part, led the race from that point. Said Munna and Wazi have also led this race for short periods of time due to people swapping positions in the first round of pit stops. I think everyone now in the last couple of minutes just want to bring this car home. I wouldn't be surprised if these will be your final results, unless we see anything dramatic out on circuit, which I hope not.
There's 1 second when that Munna will get back as it is now. Toki's got the 11-second penalty.
Nismax has added time to that. Everyone with penalties. The smallest penalty goes to the judge, just a second. And then 2 to Chen and everybody else.
Will not make a difference because the gap at the moment on track. If you're looking at that, no, Toki will be fine with 5th.
Doesn't look like anyone's penalties are really going to play a part.
And 20 seconds now. I don't see any position changes as is currently with all those penalties. So once penalties are taken into account, it will still be pretty much as it is now.
Everybody having a lonely finish to the race. There goes Munna over the gravel. Just running a bit wide there. Say no real battles on track, just 7 cars minding their own business.
Now just to survive the last 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
Toki having a bit of time off track there. Everyone just getting their tyres dirty on the outside a few times. It's a difficult circuit. Just there in the comment section mentioning that Judge has damage.
That can explain that last pit stop.
Just one thing to mention in this game. When you get damage, sometimes you come into the pits, you repair the damage, and the car is fine for the most part. But what you might be seeing on the stream, that car will look very broken, but that's not necessarily how it's handling.
Just on the topic, of course, big thing on social media, the whole incident with England versus the Proteas test match, Vernon Philander and Josh Butler. Of course, Butler's having a go. So, I do understand Josh Butler was fined 15% of his match fee.
It's not about the fine, it's about multiple sports have this same problem, whether it's FIFA, whether it's the FIA, whether it's the ICC. When it comes down to consistency of how you put the rules down, Rabada, not so long ago, I think, was it in Sri Lanka? I'm not sure where it was, but I think Rabada had a few choice words to share, and he got match bans.
That's correct, not just a match fee ban.
So you know why does one get a fine? And when you're a professional sportsman, how much does a fine? That fine is not going to mean to him what it would mean to me. Exactly. I probably wouldn't be able to pay the fine. He'd probably just stay home one night.
Now less than a minute, so this is pretty much seems like this might be the last lap.
Michael Schumacher received a fine in Formula 1 once for giving Fisichella a lift home. He was it was at Hockenheim, and his car had come to a standstill out there in the woods somewhere, and he jumped on the side part of the Ferrari and got a lift home. He got a mighty fine for that. Another thing he got fined for was going with the Italian national anthem, doing the orchestra thing with his fingers. Yeah, he got fined for that. They said he was being disrespectful of the Italian national anthem.
Oh boy, things are not going well there in real life. But yeah, as we say, we had 5 seconds remaining. Well and truly this is the last lap. But Nisma's going to start one just before, so he's going to have to do one more.
Seems like Nismax just got over the line. The guys will have to... He literally got over the line. When he went over the line, it said 1 second.
Yes.
So all he needed to do was brake a little harder into that last corner, and that would have been the result. But he's got 1 lap to go. Hopefully no drama for him. 30 seconds is the gap between him and second.
Of course, always easy to say that from here, but as he's driving, you know, to work out things like that, yeah, let's just tap a brake and miss it, no need for another lap. You know, you don't think of things like that. You just think about keeping it on track and keeping it clean.
Part of being a commentator is the armchair the whole armchair concept. They say it's much easier to have an opinion when you're watching. When you're driving, you might not even be thinking of might not even have looked up at the time. I don't race this, but I do the F1 and I know I can't think of much else when I'm driving. Otherwise... There we go. It's going to go over the line.
Here we go now.
For the final time.
Flashing the lights. Here we go. Information, and he takes the race. Nismax 30 seconds ahead of Muna. First race of the season in the bag for Nismax. Of course, Muna will bring it back in second. Of course, like I said earlier, this just confirms it. Pretty much copy paste from season 1. But of course, a lot of guys I think will improve, and if some of the other guys sort out their connection problems and a lot of guys join again, so I think there might be more competition. But we'll have to wait and see.
We eventually got the better of the judge. He will go over the line in 5th. Handful of points for him. Good start to this championship. That's our visuals. Our visuals are gone. Timing screen has come to an end, so let's just go through the results for this race. Obviously, Nismax started in second, took the lead into turn 1. He led this race for the most part, and he's won it by 37 seconds, so quite a dominant performance in the end. Muna came up in second. That was your pole sitter. Chen had a fantastic race. He finished in 3rd. Pretty uneventful, pretty lonely, but good race nonetheless. 1 lap behind your leaders. Then Wazzy in 4th, Toki in 5th, Judge coming through in 6th, and the sole Carter boy on the night coming through in 7th place.
And the only guy without a penalty.
So that is round 1 at Brands Hatch. It's come to an end. Took a while for us to get going, but good race at the end. Just a pity there was just 7.
I think a lot of guys will go, thank goodness it's over.
Only unfortunate part was just the 7 cars on the track, but I'm sure people will sort that out going into round 2, and we'll have a lot more. We were up to, I think, 13 drivers at one stage. So, well, that's that from me. I'll hand you over to Johan. Hope you guys enjoyed round 1, and I'll see you again next week.
Yeah, from my side, thank you for joining. For those of you guys watching the stream, of course, being part of a chat, thanks for the support. Of course, next week, same place, same time for round 2. Till then, keep safe. If you do your racing, do it on the track or on the game. Please do not do it on the public road unless it's a closed off road. Take care of yourselves and the people around.
That's for you, 96. Stop racing in the rain, 96.
Got that, Mr. 96.
That's not Kyle Army, that's the N1.
With that, guys, good night from us. Till next time. Cheers.